It's beer o'clock on Real Ale Craft Beer. Today we've got a beer from Anspach Hobday, and this is a can of their The Gose. Lovely kind of traditional German theme going on the label. I really like this brewery. They're a really good brewery. They produce really good beer, but I like their class. They're a classy outfit. Full 40ml can, 4% ABV. Let's get the beer out into a glass, see what we get. A little bit of smoke on the can opening, beer in the glass. One of the breweries, if I ever... Well, I'm actually going to Brew London this year. 2021, July 2021. So I am in London. Whether or not they're kind of close to the print works where this place is based is another question. We'll have to have a look on Google Maps, because I would love to visit this brewery. The beers that I've had have been terrific, really, really terrific. And just looking at this beer here in the glass, you know it's going to be, or how they produce their beers generally, they produced an ordinary bitter. It was far from ordinary. It was just really good quality, top quality beer. And whenever they produce a style of beer, they produce that classic style of beer, but they do it really, really well. So I've got big hopes on this beer. So nice carbonation, hazy, straw coloured beer, one finger white head. Let's get the aroma. Yeah, and a typical German salty Gose. It's a lemon hop flavour going on. You get a sense of that saltiness in the aroma. It smells really good. Let's dive in. Cheers, everybody. Oh yeah, it's really, really good, really, really good. The drinkability, absolutely terrific. Nice levels of carbonation, again pushing the beer on the inside of the mouth. It's got that ever so slight, and I mean ever so slight, kind of, if you've ever been swimming in the sea and you get hit by a wave and you have a mouthful of seawater, nowhere extreme as that, nowhere extreme as that, but it's got that kind of slightly salty kind of mouthfeel about it, that salty seawater mouthfeel, but nowhere as drastic as actual seawater. It's very drinkable. The malts are light and crisp. The hops are really good. It's got a slight orange, tangerine, lemon, lime feel about it. Little bit of bitterness from the hops in the beer. Incredibly drinkable, incredibly drinkable. I mentioned seawater earlier, but the drinkability is fantastic. It's almost made it have a slightly creamy mouthfeel, and of course that salty flavour is there, but not overly done. Not overly done. Let's raise this camera a little bit. There we are. I like it. And kind of food pairing with this beer, what would I do? Ooh, food pairing. Right. I don't know. I've got to be honest with you. You can either do two things with beer. You can either drink a ton of it on a Sunday afternoon, which I like to do, or you can equally on a Saturday afternoon fire up the barbecue, invite some friends round and eat and drink at the same time. I'm not sure if this is more kind of... I've never... What I'm trying to say here is I've never ever sessioned a Gose. I'm not sure if it's possible. The reason being that slight saltiness. I reckon if I drank 4 pints of it, I would worry that I was starting to kind of dehydrate from the salt, and then of course that introduces a vicious circle of right, more beer, trying to get rid of the dehydration from the salt. It's a funny thing, isn't it? The reason why the salt's in the beer is the Gose style comes from the Gose region of Germany, where the river where this original brewery, or the area where breweries were brewing beer in this town, they were taking the river water, and the river water had a natural slight saltiness about it. So the beer had this characteristic, this natural characteristic of slightly salty beer, and it nearly died out. It nearly completely died out up until the recent craft beer revolution over the last decade or so, last 2 decades, where brewers were then going through old manuals and old styles and working out that, bang, this style needs to be recreated and done again. And lo and behold, people love it. People love a Gose. Got that kind of nice sharpness to it as well. Yeah. I think maybe fire the barbecue up with this one. Maybe. Okay, Anspach Hobday, based in London. Nothing really on the side of the can. Something I'd love to do. Look at that. It looks like they're at Oktoberfest there. Having a real good time. The malt is extra pale Maris Otter, wheat, Pilsner, sheet and dextrin. The hops are whole melon and Hallertau Blanc. You definitely get a little bit of that whole melon, that slightly kind of melony flavour in the beer. Now I'm reading it on the can. Yeah, it's definitely there. And the yeast is German ale yeast. The extras is salt and coriander seeds. So I'm ready to rate this Anspach Hobday, the Gose. Yeah, it's decent. Really is a decent beer. Very drinkable, very refreshing. Probably only want the one. As I mentioned earlier, my slight concern would be dehydration. But I mean, comment in the comments box if you've drunk 6 or 7 of these, or maybe had a small session of these. Let me know. Did you get dehydrated, or were you okay? Just something I've always wanted. I've drank many Goses over the years, and it's just something I wanted to mention. I like the beer. I like the beer enough to give it a solid 8 out of 10. It's an 8 out of 10 from Real Ale Craft Beer. Please put your comments in the comments box. Subscribe to our daily beer and food reviews. Give us a big fat thumbs up. Boom! Cheers.